Hello friends, I just want to say thank you for everyone who made such wonderful comments on the last video about my broken ankle. And on this day, I'm here to tell you that I went to the hospital and the doctor saw me, hopefully for the last time. They took new x-rays and they cleared me to walk and they cleared me to play. Everything is fine. I'm a little bit sore still, just being able to start walking again is a little bit difficult at the moment. It's just sore, that's all. But the ankle is back, totally healed, and I can't wait to start playing again. Boy, let me tell you something. When you're faced with the prospect of not being able to play and not knowing if you're ever going to play the same way you did, man, that changes your life. I can't imagine people that are going through things like 10 times harder than what I've just gone through. Players that lose the ability to play completely, lose a limb or have some kind of terrible situation happen to them. What a horrible thing, man. It's just horrible. And it really changed me. It made me think about what I want to do with my time remaining on this earth, I mean, that's how deep it goes when something you love is potentially taken away from you like that. It definitely changes you. Now, I think about this incident and I have all the paperwork here from the hospital, x-ray after x-ray that they took, visit after visit. As you see, they treated me so well. I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. I think I'm going to throw it away because I don't think it's positive to keep it around. It's over. It's over. And I don't want to think about that part of it. I just want to be able to deal with the emotions that are left over from the whole ordeal. I want to be able to turn this into positive energy and to do the things that I want to do in life. That's how it affects you. That's how deeply it affects you. Now, what do I want to do in life? What's my biggest dream right now? My biggest dream still to this day is having my own big band, doing a new big band recording, video, everything. Playing in a big band to me is like the ultimate dream. I've done a lot of big bands. I've been doing rehearsal bands when I was a kid, and I went with my teachers to their rehearsal bands, and I sat next to them and watched charts go by, and I would play along with Rob McConnell and the Boss Brass Records, and I loved that band. It was so great to play along with those records. The drummer on that was so crisp and clear, and his phrasing and articulation was so perfect. I copied him to a T, and it was so much fun to play along with those records. It's like my thing, I guess. It's like the drummer and me. I'm a big band drummer. I guess that's it. You all know I played with Maynard Ferguson, obviously, but I've done a lot of big bands. And back in those days, there was no phone to record it. There was nothing, no way to record. Video cameras were huge and the sound was an issue. There was no Zoom, like now, this Q6 or Q8. I think it's a Q6. There was nothing like this back then. By sheer chance, thank God for WDR, who recorded that day, the Maynard Ferguson Band. They recorded that concert. It was televised all over Europe. And thank God for the guys that put that up on the internet, that I found those recordings. was so great to see myself, way back then playing like that. It, it, I was actually, it got to me, I was really quite emotional when I saw that recently again, because I thought, oh my God, what if I'm never able to play like that. But obviously, it was just deep, dark thoughts that you just go through. The doctor at the hospital never once told me, I would not recover, make a full recovery. He just knew, the nature of the fracture and everything. But you know how it is. Sometimes your thoughts get the best of you. Now, not always, I had the experience of having a broken foot before, and back then it was much worse, like I said in the last video. I didn't know what was going to happen, but now I know I have the experience and I know I can recover and play just as well, if not better, because I go back and rehash some technical issues and practice the things I want to practice and all that stuff. So, that's the way it is. That's what's going on. The issue now is, how the hell am I going to put a big band together and record it? It takes so much money to do. There's a friend of mine in New York. He has his big band and he has charts, and he told me he got $50,000 in debt, credit card debt, just to put that project together. I don't know if it paid off for him or not. I mean, I imagine it has, because he took that band all over the world. He's played, in many great clubs and many great orchestras. He took his arrangements to Europe and put bands together over there. I'm imagining it paid off. It certainly paid off in getting his name out there into the world and put him on a new level. Absolutely. But 50 grand in debt is not something I want to do personally. So there has to be a better way. With my producer, Francesco Desmaele, who unfortunately passed away last year. He was like my brother, and that was a really difficult loss. And we wanted to do that project, and it was already very cost prohibitive for him even. And he's a great music producer in Italy. He's done tons of things, and I even asked, Hal Hudson Music, if they wanted to do this project, if they could help me put the band together and do an instructional, educational video about big band. But they said, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's interested. Wow, I couldn't believe it. They didn't think it was going to be a major appeal, and the cost would not outweigh the benefit of doing a project like that. Regardless, it's my dream. Somehow, I've got to get it done before I leave this earth. Somehow. I don't know how. I got to figure it out. I've got to figure it out. Because when you go through something like this and you say, man, now what? Just what do I really want to do in life? What is my life about? At the moment, I know it's about music and drums, and that's a very noble thing. But what is the next move within that realm, to promote music, to promote drumming, and to express, what I want to express? I don't know if that sounds selfish or not. It's not a thing like I got to express myself, and it's not about that. I just love playing in a big band, the power, man, the energy, the drumming, and the expressiveness. There's just nothing like it in the world. No other kind of, genre really makes me that happy. I mean, I love all kinds of music. As you know, I love Afro-Cuban and Brazilian and music from India and all kinds of music. But big band is something that I just have in my gut. Never let go, It's just really hard to put that together. So today, I went to the mall for the first time in almost, 2 months. I was walking around finally. The doctor said, throw the crutches away, leave them here at the hospital. In fact, I didn't bring the crutches back. I left them there at the hospital. Just take the elastic band. You don't even really need that either, but if it gets swollen, while you're walking again, just wrap that around. But you don't even need that. He fully authorized me to start walking and recover my strength with the ankle. And I was walking around and just going, man, it's so great just to walk. Just to walk, the simple act of walking around and looking at people. And I've been locked up in this apartment the whole time. I couldn't really go anywhere except for the hospital. It's been difficult moving around and getting around on crutches. It's not pleasant, and I didn't want to risk a re-injury. So today was quite a day. Quite a day. I had to buy new sneakers that have, a lot of support, a lot of padding and arch support. The last thing you want to do is have an ankle fracture. You don't want the shoes to be bending in like that and stressing out your ankle. So that was quite a thing. Going to the mall, wow. It was refreshing. It was crazy. So I just want to say, man, thank you for everyone for leaving those wonderful comments on the last video about revealing this situation. I guess I kept it a secret because in the back of my mind, there's still the remnants of the old days where if something happened to you, people would talk, and say, oh, he'll never be the same again. And he can't play anymore. Don't hire him because he's not as good as before. That's baloney. Especially since I'm in charge of my own life. I do my own projects, as you know. And I don't depend on anybody to be calling me. That's the lamest thing to be dependent on as an artist. But it was there in the back of my mind. Oh, should I tell people? Should I not tell people? Now, I know that it was the right thing to do because so many of you reached out on that video, and I was very moved about your concern and advice from people that had happened to before. And it was very nice. It was touching. I really appreciate it. So my friends, that's what's going on. In my downtime, I rewrote Paradiddles and the Magic Sticking. That's coming up in the next video. I have to practice a lot of that stuff that I wrote to get it up to speed. And it's a beautiful book. I can't wait to show it to you guys. In the next video, I'm going to show you some of it. And that's what's going on. Tour of China is now definitely confirmed. And I'm coming back to Vietnam, believe it or not. A week later, after arriving in China, this is a whole series of gigs here and then going back to China. So the whole touring and the traveling craziness is starting again. And I'm basically overjoyed. I can't tell you how happy I am about that, to be getting back to normal drumming life. And again, well, that's all. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you want to study with me, the lesson site is waiting for you. $250 gets you into the full year program. The most innovative curriculum in the world. I'm going to explain why in the next video. Okay, my friends, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Peace.